It is unbelievable to me how few people can actually finish a standard rear naked choke when there is any amount of hand fighting. And to be honest, there is a very simple concept, and it's kind of the reason that most people aren't finishing their guillotines, their cross collar chokes, and pretty much any choke that isn't a triangle choke. And it is this. So when you see people going to guillotine, or going to rear naked choke, they're gonna see two really common mistakes. Even when I win the hand fight and I start to get in, he tucks his chin, right? And everybody is so worried about being underneath the chin. And they like get to here, and then they pull the arm away and they try it again, and they try it again, and it doesn't do anything. So when I am going for a choke, actually touching both of his traps is one of the most important things that I can be doing with the choke arm. And so as we're here, when I start to walk this under, I'm fine with, even if his chin is tucked, I'm just gonna keep working to get to those trap spaces. Notice how I sunk in on his neck here. And so when we are going to our rear naked choke, touching and touching on those traps make this very tight. And so I go to my standard finish, and I can finish this really easy. The second thing you see a lot of people do is that there is space before they go to choke. And if there is space, if I can put a finger in this space, he can put a finger in this space. When I go to finish on Jeff, I may finish because I outweigh Jeff by 100 pounds, but look how much longer it takes to finish. Now let's say I remove that space, and then I go to finish, and I'm able to finish that very quickly. And so, let's say you don't have the 100-pound advantage. Let's say Jeff goes, and let's start with a little bit of space here. Go ahead and finish me, Jeff. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Now, he transitions to that space. Way, way tighter. And this applies to every choke that you are going to see in jiu-jitsu. And so the other place you'll see people going for guillotines a lot. And when they go to guillotine, they're worried about what grip to grab. They're worried about what their hands are doing. But what you'll find is if you, again, touch both traps, my arm is touching this one and my hand is touching this one, I can finish him with that guillotine with one hand. And again, have him do it to me. And he's here, as long as he has a different grip than me, but he's touching both traps. When he goes to start to squeeze this, it's almost immediate how easily he can finish. And then the third, and I think that this is the most common position, most common choke that I see missed in jiu-jitsu, is a standard cross-collar choke. So many people miss this cross-collar choke. Obviously, when you're doing a cross-collar, you are touching both traps. But the problem is the space that there is. Right now, there is 3 inches of space between my wrists and Jeff's neck. Even if he doesn't tuck his chin, when I go to squeeze, his neck is naturally gonna fall into that space. And so those first few inches of my squeeze are wasted on closing that distance, and I get the finish. If instead, I close that distance first, I barely even need to flex my wrists, and I get my finish. And again, we'll let Jeff choke me one more time. He has space here, he goes to finish. Same thing, he closes the space, he just flexes his wrist, and he finishes almost immediately. And this is a simple thing you can try at home with one of your buddies, where you just choke each other back and forth like this weird video we've been doing. But these simple rules will help you finish chokes so much easier, and you'll stop wasting a bunch of strength trying to squeeze when you're squeezing people into the space that you're already giving them when you're setting up the choke.